Hi everybody, we're going to be talking about Yamaha brass instruments and why those student models are the best for you. Stick around and find out.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Andrew, and we are here at Alamo Music Center. Please feel free to visit us at alamomusic.com and don't forget to subscribe to see future content that we have. So, today we're going to be talking about Yamaha brass instruments, right?
Yamaha Brass instruments, and specifically just globally all the student models.
Yeah, so why Yamaha?
Well, kind of the two biggest selling points globally, and I have the trumpet here, but generally speaking across the whole line: trumpets, trombones, French horns, single and double, trombones, euphoniums, baritones, tubas. They all have two characteristics that are in common. They're very sturdy, so they can take the abuse from a fifth or sixth grader well,
Right.
which is vital. And they're predictable. They're predictable in terms of color of sound and in terms of pitch.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, for as long as I've been selling these instruments, Yamaha has always been the top of the game. Since 2010, most band directors and everything have been consistently asking for them. For this trumpet, for example, and everything, what does it really bring in terms of the consistency? What is that about?
In terms of the consistency, just player to player, horn to horn, if they're all on, say, Yamahas, they're going to have the best possible chance of matching color of sound,
Okay.
and of matching pitch. And they really are two separate things. Sometimes you can hear a color problem and it sounds like a pitch problem, but it's really not. It's a color problem. And that happens when you do have matched or unmatched sets. If you have somebody on brand X and somebody on brand Y, it can, on the surface, sound like it's out of tune, but it's really the two different colors that those two trumpets produce.
Gotcha. So I mean, yeah. So when kids are just starting out and stuff like that, they don't really have a lot of reference or experience to know how to really adjust their tone. They're all starting on the same instrument, right?
Exactly.
So when you start on the Yamaha and everything like that, you tend to have basically one of the most, and consistent's the word for it.
Yeah.
Is an instrument where each student and stuff like that, they're able to just play into it and it does exactly what is being asked of it. It doesn't get in the way of the kid,
Right.
which is definitely an issue with a lot of brands and stuff like that too. Especially the cheaper ones online that you find.
Yeah.
That can be a huge issue. So maybe it's the metal, or what could it?
It's all the above. It's the materials it's made out of. It's the consistency that you get from the factory process that Yamaha has. So when those things are coming off the assembly line, you can get 2, 3, 4 trumpets, and they're going to blow the same way. They're going to sound the exact same, and the pitch tendencies are going to be the same. I mean, once you tune, let's say, a middle C on a trumpet, it doesn't mean every note's in tune. Your C is in tune, but every single note and all the partials, without getting too technical, they all have different pitch tendencies, and that's really what you spend your whole life battling.
Right.
Whether it's a student horn or even at the professional level. If you ever go watch a professional symphony play, the last thing they're doing before the show starts is they're working on pitch.
Yeah, long tones.
Long tones, playing parts together. If you go early enough, it's kind of like watching batting practice at a Major League Baseball game.
Right. So as far as this goes, I mean, I guess the word for that would be the intonation of the instrument, right?
Yeah.
So across the board, the intonation of the instrument, you're able to kind of have a much more consistent, easy way to play, and it doesn't get in the way.
Intonation and color. I mean,
Gotcha.
they're both really, really inseparable. And again, with some of the cheaper instruments, they're just not going to sound as resonant. They're not going to sound as good, and they're going to be unpredictable. It's like taking off the wood part of a bottle rocket and throwing it out there like a firecracker. It's just going to
Oh, exactly.
go all over the place. So,
Gotcha. Now, I know that one of the big things about Yamaha and kind of the scarier part for a lot of parents and stuff is the price point. A lot of the weight of the price is going to be carried by the name brand itself. But honestly, there are tons of different financing options that you can go through too.
Yeah, and the bulk of the horns that I think most music stores move, they're going to be rentals. You know, these primarily are meant to be not just sold, but they're meant to be in a store's rental fleet, because the teachers do want you to have matched horns, and instead of forcing you to go out and spend X amount of dollars, doing a rental is going to be a way more manageable way to get what your student needs to be successful. And it really is, it really can determine the success of a kid. If you put somebody on a substandard instrument, they're going to be the kid making the mistakes all the time, because they're going to sound weird, they're going to have weird pitch tendencies, and they're going to get called out all the time as being a substandard player, when it's really the equipment that's making them substandard.
Yeah,
it's that critical.
I've run into that a lot of times. Sometimes, you know, the parent will go ahead and purchase the saxophone or the trumpet or something like that online, you know, get one for like $100, you know, like on Amazon or something like that. And what can end up happening is the instrument just completely gets in the way. They'll sit there and practice, and the instrument's not doing what the book is telling them it should be doing as far as the pitch and everything. The song doesn't sound right, and they could come in and it doesn't work as well. So I think, yeah, the price point is completely reflected on the quality. But this is something that the band directors all plan for, right? So when it comes to it, there's tons of different options. There's rentals, financing, layaway, all that kind of stuff that a lot of music stores are prepared to help you with going forward.
Yeah.
So actually, about the trumpet, why don't you go, we can play something real quick and stuff like that, see how it sounds, and take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, really the functional range of the instrument is going to be anything in the staff, again, without getting too technical. You know, the first note that a student learns to play is, you know, G.
Yeah.
And when a kid starts playing, you're going to spend the first 2 or 3 weeks just getting that note out. And then you start. And you start moving them around the instrument. And that's really where you learn to play, when you're starting to learn getting shelf to shelf. That's the first big hurdle that a student has to get through. And these instruments are designed because of the size of the bore, the materials, the way that they're built. Like a normal trumpet or an intermediate or pro, you're going to have more room here, right? These are made for smaller hands. So everything about this instrument is designed for a smaller human being to be successful playing this instrument.
I can remember this one time. This kid, I went to Region Band and everything like that. I made it all the way. And the guy that got first chair was this kid. He was this 9th grader, took lessons and stuff. He was playing on the Yamaha 200. It was perfect. It sounded great, and it was not getting in his way or anything. So even if the kid was to go forward in high school or take it much more seriously, the instrument's still going to go up with him.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the program, a lot of people use these for marching band because they're sturdy, they're going to take a beating. It depends on the program, but just generally speaking, it's totally appropriate to take this into high school and use it for football games and pep band and all those sorts of things. So that's our overview of Yamaha student model brass instruments. Come on down to the store downtown, and we'll talk to you about different ways we can facilitate ownership of these instruments for your newly minted student musician.
And please visit us at alamomusic.com. We have tons of these kinds of instruments online just for purchase. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to see what other content we have coming out in the pipeline. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.